Audrey?
We're having me.
We're having me. I'm like Miss Briggs.
I thought you was gonna ask her if she wanted to speak first.
I did too.
Yeah.
Who's it going?
I did too.
All right. Anybody got any question about the, you got me all messed up. On the agenda, everyone had time to look at it, I'm sure.
Sure.
Any
Yes.
questions or
Good, good.
changes? I don't think.
Oh, no, I take that back. I would like to amend the agenda.
Okay.
Just for a little bit of discussion and information at the end,
Okay.
if needed, about what we're gonna do with the recyclables at the
Okay.
transfer station.
Amen.
All right.
Right there.
And leave here on
You got that, Dawn?
some page.
All right, let's move down to approval of our previous minutes. Everybody's had time, I'm sure, to look at that. Any questions or changes, concerns on that?
No, sir.
Okay. Personnel status, go over that. Only changes we've had is doing in the jail. We got two, I know it's going, it's fixing to go to mandate school. Sheriff was talking about that the other day. Kind of with that, it's not. Stacy, have you got any new, any people coming on summer help that we know that?
No.
Okay, so there's no change in that. Any questions on that?
No, that's good.
Move down to number 4, board appointments and proclamations. Don't have any appointments, it's, thank goodness we've got pretty much everything covered on that. No proclamations, don't. Amen. Okay. Move down to number 5, this is approval of SPLOST capital equipment, and as far as I know, there's not anything on that this week, nothing on the roster. Number 6, this is approval of our ARPA expenditure, Dade County Fire Training Center. Don, you want to
Table that.
go ahead and table?
We're gonna, they needed to do a request for proposal before they presented it.
Okay. All right. That was, you talked to Ansel and Kaiser and all, okay. All right. Number 7, historic courthouse restoration project. Mr. Jamie, come on up here, little Jamie.
Not quite, Mr. James.
I know it. Tell us who you are. He's there.
My name's Kyle Atkins,
Yeah.
Lives Construction.
You're a superintendent kind of a job.
Yes.
You oversee, okay.
For our budget status right now, RFP 2023 number 16 for the landscaping scope of the projects has been issued. Responses have been requested for the 21st of this month. We're going to have a mandatory pre-bid on the 12th at 10 a.m. Moving down to our construction schedule, our HVAC roofing is continuing. Our planned plaster rings for upstairs and the ceilings, it's not going to work like we had planned. The ceiling joists are in the way, but Billy Reeves with Reeves Heating and Air is looking at getting us an alternate to be able to fix that issue. Framing and drywall still ongoing, and as well as our in-wall electrical. Additional courtroom ceiling tiles have been reproduced to replace the tiles where the old HVAC grills are now, and some of our ceiling fans are just damaged tiles. And our exterior drain line work is scheduled to begin within the next 2 weeks. And I don't have any significant open items right now. As for our contract status, upcoming RFPs include doors and hardware, and we have been working with a hardware vendor to make sure that we have some vintage style door hardware that remains functional to today's standards. And that's all I have.
That opening, bid opening, do you have it here in the room? Is that where that bid opening you mentioned at first?
Yes, it'll be received
It'll be
here.
Here, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like all the rest of
10
them.
o'clock, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any questions?
After the exterior drain line, y'all are we're gonna fix the wall finally. I mean,
Yes.
ultimately, that's what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Some people in the community have been wanting to know about that.
Yeah, they'll have to
We
have some
fixing
kind
it
of
or
machinery to
insurance?
dig all that, and we figured that would be the better entry.
But we left it open because
So we could get the drain too.
we're gonna have to do that anyway, so.
Yeah. Save us some money.
I just had a question. When Jamie was here last time, he talked about the floors upstairs, being able to finish them, but And I did go look at them, and somebody on every joist has driven
Nails.
a nail in every joist, one after the every 16 inches.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be salvageable, or is that going, do you know yet, have you got to that place?
Yes, it is, but the person that we have contacted with said they can't really give us a price to do it like that. It'll have to be on like a kind of a time and material basis. They'll give us a per hour price and then set off from there. The good news, all the nails in the floor downstairs have been removed, so that's not a process we'll have to deal with there.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thanks for the report, appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Number 8, Mr. Evan Stone, he's our Executive Director of Dade County Economic Development. He has a report for us tonight.
Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to come. I've got our board chair, Dr. Ken Trail. He came with me tonight as we got a number of things we want to talk about. A lot of you already know some of it, but I'm going to go back over from the beginning, kind of give you an idea of what's been happening. We'll start with the initial projects, and that's going to, of course, Trenton Pressing. Trenton Pressing is about 3 weeks behind. I talked to Brad Kaufman today only because of the rain. You know, they're having to deal with the elements and the rain that we've been having. And those of you in construction, like Commissioner Hartline, can agree to that. But they are, they still feel like that they're going to be making their time frame by the end of the year. Robin, the county attorney, and I went to, along with last week, I guess it's almost 2 weeks ago, and got the phantom bonds approved by the Superior Court for them to be able to move forward. Now, and what we mean by phantom bonds, this is because of the land acquisition through the Industrial Development Authority. The Industrial Development Authority nor the county or anything are putting any money in. It's all private money that they're building this expansion with up on top of the hill, the $10 million expansion on their building. But they are working full force, and if you've been by there, you'll see a lot of activity going on. A lot of rock being hewn up from the earth and crushed, and so they are moving right ahead. Integer, they're still in the process of their $8 million expansion. I was pleased to find out that they're up to about 430 employees, and they're just adding every day. And as quick as they get these 2 new production facilities and these clean rooms, they're going to be adding more. They're of course going to have their office complex. That construction is going to be starting real soon. Matter of fact, Robin and I had a conference call with their attorney earlier this morning on getting the deed swapped for the. It's a really small piece of land that the Industrial Development Authority are selling to Integer, but they have to be able to do that for them to build the building for their just for their corporate offices here in Dade. Map's already up here on the wall. We're pleased to just in the last couple of months that we've closed on an additional piece of property. Right now we're calling it the Trenton Dade Business Park North, which is on Highway 11, and about 78 acres. And the site that we're going to turn into a business park is about 40 acres. So we've got I think 26 acres that's on the west side of the interstate that we're going to be looking to do some things with. That's not going to be industrial. We don't believe there's no infrastructure over there, but we are going to be looking to do something with it in the near future. And then there's 8 acres that's going to be east of the railroad track. You'll see that long stretch. We had a recommendation. I won't say who, but somebody wanted us to put an airport there, a landing strip. It's long enough, from what I understand, but that's the old U.S. Highway 11 roadbed.
Roadbed, yeah.
Roadbed down through there. So, you know, we've got all of that. We've already got 2 prospects that we're talking to, 2 different projects. As you may recall, last year I talked to you about Project Hardwood. Had a great conversation. That project is moving, and I talked with the CEO and the founder of that company today, and it was a really positive phone call, and we're moving towards getting him some things together that we'll be able to do from the IDA, the JDA, and the state of Georgia as far as incentives to be able to. He's looking at a couple of other places outside the state of Georgia, but definitely He likes our area, and we've had one of their board members already on site, and we took them around to about 5 different sites, and they really liked this site on Highway 11. So that conversation is moving forward, and that's Project Hardwood that y'all are somewhat familiar with.
Let me verify something else for writing down. How much is on the west side of the freeway?
On the west side, there's about 26, I believe, 26, 27 acres, something like that on the west side.
Wondering close.
Yeah,
And the
it's
east,
less than 30.
and the east side of the railroad tracks.
East side, we thought that was only 4 acres, turned out to be 8 when we had it surveyed.
And that's the old road bed.
Down through there.
So we
You
think
know,
we'll be able to get sewer to this main piece.
We are in the process of looking at a couple of grants that'll take the city sewer system up there to that part. And we've already had conversations, and I've had a meeting with Georgia Power. There's already 3-phase power on there, and they're working with us on what we can do. As a matter of fact, Georgia Power is gonna be making an initial layout of the land for us, and of where we can set different size buildings and different things, and where a road may go. And they'll do that all for us, basically at no cost for the IDA or the county. So that, and there'll be there's one house, and I'll ask Commissioner Rumley, executive, to talk a little bit about this, because I didn't actually go inside. The Price Farm had a big 2-story house, and it's still there. We had hopes that it would be something that could be restored, moved, or something. But after you go, the looks are deceiving from the front. And I know that, Mr. Rumley, you've actually been inside. I have not. Do you?
We did, Billy and I went down and looked at it because you'd mentioned, maybe trying to salvage it, but, if you look from outside, it's really good looking, but when you go in there, everything's caved in. They've let the roof go for years and years and years. There's one area in the back part of it, you could put a small car through it all the way down, and the floor is completely dropped to the ground, and I don't know, I don't know. I mean, there's just no way. It just,
So look for that in the next week or so. We did want to make it public in case there's anybody out there that may, be kin to some of them that want to take pictures or do something or whatever. Before you do that, please let the commission office know. We've got no trespassing signs that are up, and we've changed the locks on the gate. You may notice that Billy's done a lot of mowing and bush hogging down there, and it's got it looking real good. But that, unfortunately, the old Price house will have to come down, and we're trying to figure out exactly the best way to do that, whether just tear it down or maybe donate it to the fire department or something. But that's going to be in the next week or so.
Yeah.
And I think there's been several family members have already came and
got some
looked at it.
part,
got
there's some pieces that they wanted, but it's,
Want to make sure that everybody knew that we were going to do that, and that it's just not, we're going to tear it down. We actually looked at it and realized it can't be used for anything anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, excited about that, to be able to have 2 projects already. At this point in time, if both projects come through, we're probably already out of land, which is a great problem to have. The house, of course, will take care of that. We're working on one other project. It's Project Caspian, that was given to us to the Georgia Economic Development. We've had one site visit. The site selector, as well as a real estate agent for this company, met with all of us, Spencer and Jeff Mullis from the JDA, County Executive, Mr. Rumley, and myself. We met with them. It was a very productive meeting. Met with them a little over an hour here around this table. It's a project that we should know something here in just a few months, but it's a favorable project. We're kind of excited about that, but we do not have a clue what Project Caspian means. Nobody does. A lot of folks, and let me just stop there and say just briefly, a lot of folks may not understand that these projects are set because the company that may want to come into your community, our community, they're also looking at other communities. And they don't want anybody to know, they don't want anybody, the right hand know what the left hand's doing. Because in this climate, they're negotiating, they could be negotiating with 5 different cities and counties and even states on who will give them the better deal. That's really what we're looking at now. You know, they may say we want to be in the South, or we may want to be near Chattanooga or whatever, but outside of that, every town is going to be loading up incentives and trying to pull them into their area. And that's the reason they'll just tell us it's Project Caspian or Project Hardwood or Project whatever, and we don't know until we make the short list. And then we have to sign a piece of paper since we can't tell anybody. Then it really gets secretive. But as far as I mean, that's dictated by the companies that may want to locate here, because that's just the way they do business. I just wanted to bring that up because I think there'd been some folks that may have mentioned, well, how come we didn't know this and that and the other? And on the other side, like the real estate, the board, as well as the commission, you want to be able to buy a piece of real estate at the lowest possible price for the taxpayers. And that's the same way with the IDA. You know, they'll look at buying something, but they have to keep it secret, because if everybody knew that the government was going to buy it, then it costs more. Y'all know that, you know. But I did want to say that, because, or maybe not always costs more, but sometimes it does. Okay, maybe that's fair. But anyway, I wanted to go into that just a little bit, because there's been some folks that have asked about that, and that is why. So several projects are ongoing. On a professional level, our dentist here in the city is working through the permit process to get his practice open, and kind of excited about
I noticed that. Yeah, they started construction inside of it last
Yep.
minute, yeah.
And
Tell everybody where that's at in case they haven't heard.
it's the home health building that was just south of the Dollar General store, just south of Moore Funeral Home, will be the new dentist office.
Yep.
And I've been working with a dentist. It's a medical firm that specializes in realty for just professional doctors and dentists and things like that, and out of Atlanta. So they're going to be moving here, so we'll have a new dentist soon. And we've got one other retailer. Their retailers looking at a expansion, so that is good and existing. I want to talk a little bit about workforce development. I may have told you last year when I'd done my report at the end of the year, I'd returned from Savannah from the Georgia Economic Development Summit. And the one thing they talked about is workforce housing. It's never been an economic development / industrial development issue until now. And not only is it an issue here locally, but it's an issue all over the state. And Governor Kemp set aside several $1 million and to do grants and make them available for counties that need to bring in additional housing for workforce. There's a lot of stipulations that go along with it. The Industrial Development Authority, the board voted a couple of months ago to look into the grants and try to make them available if possible. It is, I just wanted to tell you who it was through.
But this is actually not, the IDA is not going for the grant. You're going to assist different
Yeah, we're only
contractors.
assisting.
You're going to assist the contractors
Either
to.
a city or a county
Yeah, okay.
or an industrial development authority to apply. So we're applying for these grants for private contractors. And the way that they work, it's through the One Georgia Authority. This money, there's a lot of stipulations. Right now, we've got 4 different companies that want to look at applying. And we made the initial grant application last week with the 4 different companies. They have since come back and said, well, we're going to delay the process, so if you want to add some. There's no restrictions on how many we can add,
Yeah.
you know, but we're only basically the conduit to do this. And it's to squash any other rumors. It has nothing to do with Section 8 housing. I got confronted with that a couple of weeks ago. absolutely has nothing to do with it. This is money that was set aside by Governor Kemp to be able to assist in infrastructure and also loans to contractors that would come and build subdivisions, apartment complexes, and the housing, just to give you an idea, you have to sell your home between $125,000 and $290,000. So $290,000 is the highest priced home that if a contractor got a grant through the state, he couldn't sell $500,000 homes. He has to make affordable workforce housing. And that's only a loan to that contractor, low interest, loan to the contractor. The infrastructure grant that would be for water and sewer and utilities could be up to $2.5 million per project, and that will help bring the infrastructure in if someone was, wanting to put together a subdivision. We've got two different folks that are looking at apartment complexes, and once again, on rental, it's set, and it has to be at least 2 bedrooms or more, and there has to be a price set on, how much that they can rent it for. But this is private companies. We're just assisting on the grant. They may not get the grants. I mean, now, y'all know how grants are. You may apply for 20 and get 2. But it is money that was set aside for workforce housing. One of the things that we're seeing is the fact that we're blessed here in this county because of the Lineman College and the college out on the mountain. There's a lot of rental homes that are taken up by that. But then you add the Airbnbs on top of that where folks are, so a lot of the everyday rental homes that we have seen over the years, and I'll even add one more, 11 years ago when we lost 178 homes, I think, that were either lost or damaged in the apartment complexes in the tornadoes.
Oh, yeah, living quarter,
We've never recovered from that. We've never recovered from that. The school system's never recovered from the number of students. I think at one time, we were up to almost 2,400 students in the school system, and now we're about 21 or 22. Since the tornado, we just never recovered because of housing. So, we're just assisting these folks, and we've got 4 different contractors that are going to be applying. William is, as you know, a great grant writer, and he's going to be assisting them on their grants, and we're going to be the one that applies, but really it doesn't have a lot to do with the Industrial Development Authority other than it gives us workforce housing that's affordable for someone to work at Integer or Vanguard or Print Pressing or wherever they may be. Any questions on that? So I know that was a lot, and I apologize, but, want to make sure that, and if anybody's out there that wants to find out more about this, we're available, and William will be happy to talk with them and send them a packet of information if there's someone out there that
Your number's on the website? I mean,
Yes.
it's out on, okay,
Yes.
yeah, for getting.
can get in touch with me, and of course.
Or you can call us and we'll put you in touch with.
Yeah,
Evan,
and
yeah.
we can get you the packet of information.
Okay.
There's a lot of activity going on, and I think it's a great post-COVID era because there's a lot of activity, and if we can land some of these projects, I think it'll be a win for the county, and we'll just continue stepping up to the plate. I mean, we are going against countless numbers of counties and cities, but I feel like we're in the game largely because of y'all and the Industrial Development Authority. Got a great board. Y'all been supportive through SPLOST funds to be able to buy land, because if you don't have soap, you can't have soap to sell. We've all heard that, and y'all have helped us do that, and now we got a little bit of soap, and we may have already sold it before we don't know that for sure, but we definitely got some folks looking at the soap.
Good.
Any questions?
At what point would y'all get involved with our heavy use board?
As far as the Industrial Development Authority is concerned, that property is different. If it was a private landowner, If it was a private landowner that would require, if they met the requirements of having to go through that other board, then we may help them on some other ways, but a private owner would have to go through that board from the way I understand it. So, Industrial Development Authority land on our industrial parks and things like that. But if it's a private landowner, then they would have to go through and meet the criteria that's set out by y'all in that other board.
But if it's industrial development property, you wouldn't have to go through that.
That's my understanding. If
Well, you would if it was some type of a heavy use in the industry, like if it was some kind of industry that we felt was gonna pollute or bring some type of awful odor or whatever.
Well, it would,
Yeah.
we would
Well-
never even entertain it.
No, but if you did, just say we had a board that did that, that's what this board's
Yeah,
for.
we could
They
send it
could
to
come
the
in
board,
and evaluate that for the citizens and say, look, it may pay $50 an hour, but, it's gonna destroy half the county, so that's what that board is there for, so.
The Industrial Development Authority, based on what they have told, if the project came to us, it would never have to go to them because
Yeah.
they would never approve it to go to them.
Yeah.
So,
That's what
it's kind of a
it should be.
fail-safe both ways.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do anything, that would be detrimental to, environment that couldn't be, navigated, I guess is a good way
Yeah.
to put it, depending on what it is. And, so I hope that answered your question. Yes, definitely if it was a private owner, if someone in a rising fund had 150 acres and they wanted to sell it to someone, they wouldn't even have to call the Industrial Development Authority. They wouldn't even have to call, but they wouldn't be able to take advantage of any type of the assistance that any of the agencies would be able to help. And they could work out a private deal, but they would still, by county ordinance, have to go through that other board, even though that it's not, government doesn't have anything to do with it. I hope that
Yeah.
But
answers,
it helps.
answer
More
your,
information.
do what, sir?
Just more information, I like.
Absolutely, absolutely. And all of y'all know how to get in touch with me. If you have any questions, if you hear something, just give me a call. I've talked to several of you. You may have read something, heard something, somebody asked you something. I've tried to answer and will always answer any questions that y'all may have, and anybody else that wants to call to be able to tell that. I will ask our chairman if he wants to say anything.
I'm good, I think you covered everything. I appreciate your time and your effort.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all have done very well. I want to pat y'all on the back because y'all set the board, and we have a great IDA board. They're very energetic, and they're very concerned about growing good paying jobs for the county, and they're doing real well. So without y'all's help, we wouldn't have a board like this, so we're excited about that.
It's a good board, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank y'all.
All right, appreciate it, thank you. Okay, let's move down to the number 9. This is our resolution R-20-23, the agreement for local services between HandUp program and Dade County. Robin, I'll turn it over to you. I know you was in the office a little while ago when we were talking about what we need to do on this.
So, following our last meeting, we had a conference call, telephone conference call, with Ted, Don, and myself with Megan Martin, the lady from ACCG, and kind of explained to her what we were doing and so forth. The state, I think she agreed with us that the existing information about what you can and cannot do with the money is not well defined yet, and they are working with the state to get that more fleshed out. But she was in agreement that you could use funds for treatment programs, and so she had suggested, and we sent her a copy of the proposed agreement that we had that had been drafted for Hands Up. She's going to redline that and get it back to us, get corrections or suggestions she has. And so we had the discussion with her a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I have not gotten that back from her yet. I did leave a message for her, but I've not heard back from her yet. So we don't have that back from her yet, and I apologize for another month's delay, but we probably would be wise to do that, to get that back.
And she said it'd be a couple of weeks because of this holiday week hitting and all that, so,
She did.
yeah, so it'd be, yeah.
One
All
other-
right, so we'll just, need to table it
I
then.
got something I'd like to ask Robin while we're on the subject. We're talking about one specific fund to take this out of the
Well,
opioid crisis fund, or?
yes, it would be out of the funds that we received from the opioid settlement
Yeah.
funds.
My further expansion on that question with government funding would be, there are other government funds that are going to hands up ministry. I mean, I found $23,500 worth of expenditures that have went from another account, from Dade County government, to this ministry. I want that question answered, if that's a problem with church and state also, because I know we had concerns. We talked about that.
Right.
And,
Yeah, well, we can take a look at it and see.
that needs to be looked into, because we've lost a program with our high school, drug testing our high school and our 7th and 8th graders because of the lack of funding. Started in January. I've asked one school board member about it, Miss Hartline. She was unaware of it. I was unaware of it until we were looking into the drug testing policy for the school buses. But that listed as one of the reasons, one of the funds that this money, some of these monies, that same fund has come out of would have been enough.
But that's not treatment. That's,
But that's what I'm saying, no, but if it's okay out of one government fund, it'll be okay out of both.
that's true. I agree with that.
So I worry about I really worry about us not testing our high school students, but giving them another money to
Right.
another, which is definitely a government organization, our school system.
Well, those funds though were from
Court,
court-related matters. This is from an opiate settlement funds that have, which they are still defining how to use the funds,
and I understand
but
that.
it's more for treatment of existing problems than it is identifying possible drugs, I guess. And that was a decision made by the sheriff too. I mean,
Well, it's not our fund to control, I understand that, but it concerns me that we're giving them money and we're canceling a program that's testing our high school students and our 7th and 8th graders.
Yeah, but
Maybe
wouldn't
catching
that
up.
come out of the school?
No, it's a program that the courts have set up and it's paid for by the court system. And what I got told was this fund is getting very low, and it is. Me and Tommy went through it. But what concerns me is the 23,500 that went to hands up.
So
we don't have enough money.
the county funds this program for the school?
It's
Okay.
a,
Court
yeah,
system.
The court system, though,
And that
from fines and fees and from.
COVID depleted this because there was no courts. There was, everything was shut down. So there was no funds being
So the
collected,
court
fines being whatever
system
it
funds
takes.
it?
Yes.
It's
Okay,
earmarked.
that's
to go there.
better.
It's
and
not
it's,
the
and it's
county
earmarked,
doing it,
and it's
it's,
earmarked for that type of thing. It's stipulated for drug testing for students. Well, curricular activities.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. I understand now. I wasn't
And
getting.
that's been stopped. That worries me. I have 2 high school grandsons.
So you're asking if the use of the opioid funds for that purpose is permissible, or would be a use for those funds? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can check that for you.
And on both questions for me would be, is that church and state issue or not? I mean,
So are those drug testing, those are for not court kids? They are for
It was the
high school?
every-
I mean, for
extracurricular activities.
was
Anybody
across
that
the
does
board.
extracurricular
interesting.
activity.
Okay,
It
No,
could be
that's right.
sports,
That's right.
kids in sports or
right,
whatever.
okay.
Band, clubs,
Yeah,
4-H, anything that extracurricular.
academics, yeah,
It's hoping
anything,
to
yeah.
catch a problem before it gets too out of hand. The drugs are so poisonous nowadays. It just takes once sometimes, so. But if you catch them early,
Yeah.
you might can help them.
Check it out and see what, get an answer his questions, and we'll have a answer by the next meeting on this other, because one of the biggest, questions, that when we were talking to this lady, and she done most of the talking, now trust me, but, and of course Robin, but it mentioned in there that the money couldn't be spent on any particular group, a religious type group, couldn't be like the ministries or whatever. It has to be, that's what I understood, and that's one of the biggest questions here, to be sure, from what she, and there's several questions you asked her, so it's gonna be pretty interesting to see just what she comes up with, on it, and, because this lady here is with the state, yeah.
And we do have other religious organizations that, like the Seventh-day Adventists, I mean, they've done that since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
And there again, you tie it back
We sponsor
into,
one, how are we not gonna sponsor the
Yeah.
other? I mean,
well, we'll have some answers,
Well, I think
between now.
depending on what the outcome is, it could be, this could be money that we could, like, do responsible, for anybody that,
Let's
as
split it
long
up.
as it's in those lines. It's not it's a continuous until it runs
Yeah,
out, right?
yeah, and she clarified the other day, clearly stated that they, Hands Up I don't have that sheet in front of me, that they're a member of, what is it, Rex, that, that's right. She said those were two services that were clearly identified as
What was it? I'm sorry, I
authorized.
didn't hear you.
What is it again?
Yeah, okay,
Those
okay.
are
yeah.
acronyms for
Yeah.
something, but she said
Yeah,
that
I've read that
she
before.
quoted those two things as clearly they're good to go.
Yeah.
Other counties are already doing that, Cherokee and DeKalb.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss it further when we get that.
While we're on
back.
this, I'm really curious, where did this resolution, where did it come from? Who drawed it up?
I wrote that
And you're
up.
the one that's proposing this resolution.
It came up as you're talking about the resolution and the agreement?
This resolution that we're trying to discuss and talk about, where did it originate from, and who drew it up, and who asked it to be put on this?
I typed it up.
Who asked for it to be put on here?
Uh,
Who's backing this resolution?
I put that out before y'all and never heard anything back, that y'all never said not to. And no one ever said take it off the agenda.
Yeah, I'm fine with it as long as it's under the law and it's,
As long as we're fair with it, with the
Yeah,
money,
as long as
because
it's-
that's what it's
I'm just
for.
curious
When
where
it
the
came
resolution
up-
come from.
When it came, I typed the resolution. I typed most of in fact, I typed all of our resolutions.
just say, yeah.
Now, I read almost all of them by Robin, too. So as far as typing the resolution, I've typed every resolution since 2007 I'm aware of. And to clarify your answer. But I put that out to everyone, never heard anything back. I talked to Ted, Robert.
We discussed.
I talked to all of y'all about it. Didn't I talk to you about it?
You did talk to me, I'm just asking.
Didn't I talk to you about
So let
it
me
one more?
re-ask my question
Yeah, I had
then,
issues
since
with
that
it.
you want
Didn't
to
I
talk
talk to you about it?
about Don.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me re-ask my question then, since
Okay.
you want to talk about who typed it up. My question is, who is sponsoring this resolution? Who's the one that, you talk to us, but somebody's got to be like the fire department. I'm just asking, like the fire department comes in, they want SPOS money or whatever, they're the ones that do that. Who done this one?
I type all the resolutions up from the standpoint of anybody in the community or a commissioner that proposes something, and so that's what I did.
Okay.
I think he's looking for the commander
Who
of the
proposed it?
jail. Didn't he propose it?
No? The
I thought he
commander of
said
the
I thought
jail.
who's
Yeah,
the,
you're
The
welcome.
captain?
yeah, there's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
So
'cause-
on these funds, I started receiving emails, of course, we get emails from the federal government and hear rumblings roughly about 2 years before it ever become factual. And it's just one of them things, you just kind of wait and see, not everything washes out. I think I've mentioned it, it's been years back.
It was years
It was
back.
2 years ago.
But, and then, of course, you know, the official, what they put out as far as federal government, how it can and can't be spent, then it rolls out. So, I mean, does that answer your question? No?
You're good though.
Okay.
But I think you came to Don and talked to him, didn't you? I thought you.
I
told
mean,
me
we've
that.
talked about this since the inception of
I
the
think that's
program.
who-
It
What
was
Philip's
before-
looking for
It
is-
was actually before, because it was a good year to year and a half before I ever started seeing emails before actual.
Settlement,
money.
there wasn't even any settlement at that
No,
time.
not at that time.
And-
It
and-
was just
yeah.
word of
Well, there was
mouth,
talk
hey,
about
these pharmacies are getting sued for this reason.
Yeah.
And, you
And you
know,
guys seen the benefit of what you're trying to accomplish, and
That's
yeah,
all.
that's what our conversation was.
am I okay to speak to the earlier discussion?
Yeah, see, well.
Okay, so drug education fund and the jail fund at the same time. It's not just the same funds. Through the COVID thing, and like I think Don said, we're not the only county, the income got cut 50% on those funds when they normally come in. So that's part of what dropped it down. The money that was discussed as far as when it was donated out of that fund, I think was right at or before COVID hit, so.
Well, the last one for $15,000 was in 21.
Okay, the one prior to that, yeah, in 2021, the one prior to that.
There was one in 21, 19, and 17.
Okay, so I mean, it's not been within, it's been since 2017, it hadn't been just all of a sudden.
No,
I will tell
I
y'all,
didn't mean to say that.
on, like you take, for instance, like the jail fund, it got hit too because it slowed down too. And we're starting to see little glimmer of it starting to pick up, and hopefully we'll be used to regular income. And the drug test or the drug testing company that gets paid through the high school is out of that drug education treatment fund.
But that was canceled in January, correct?
I would have to refer to
Tommy told me that.
Yeah, Tommy is the one on
Yeah,
that.
Tommy told me that, and we were on the phone.
And you know, and I'll,
Ted was in the office with me when he told us that.
and you take, for instance, the jail fund, I've had to slow down on it. Normally, my education and training, instead of it being tax money, we usually pull that from, for the jail side, we usually pull that from the jail fund. Just so it's, you know, fine money instead of tax money. That's one way to help the budget. So, I mean, it's just how we improvise, and,
Yep.
you know, if there's a need somewhere and there's a fund and it can be met, I mean, that's how we've always moved forward. So,
I understood him to say that the reason it was pulled because the balance was low. I mean, they didn't have the money to do it.
right.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reason it,
Just on average, and I can't, as far as what average is on the Dade fund or the drug education treatment fund, I can't speak to that average. But at the same time, that jail fund, I'm used to the jail fund. I would typically try to hold anywhere from 18 to 20 right there. In case, you know, we had something that needed to be paid for in the jail, or, you know, like I said, all of our training goes through that. The jail fund, when it became evident to me, it had went down to 9,000, and that's when I put the brakes on everything. And then at a different time, Tommy's like, you know, hey, what's going on with these funds? And we got to looking into it, and the other counties were up
Same
against
way.
the same thing.
yeah.
And we're slowly moving back forward again.
Yeah.
But it's all strictly court fines and fees that come out of the arrest and tickets that are written to both funds, really, the jail and the drug education treatment fund. It's not tax money.
All right.
And the one reason, it's not just that they just shut off the testing. The vendor changed the parameters of that program, and I think went way up on prices and stuff, so.
And
There was I mean, yeah, we were short with money, but there was a difference in opinion too, so.
so
It's
as
not
far
to
as,
say that they can't reinitiate something or start something, but
So, and it's just like with inflation and everything else, so I buy the drug test for the jail and for the sheriff's office and like investigations, any drug testing we do over there. I buy it through that fund. We're actually through 2 or 3 different funds, just to kind of split it up. And, them drug tests have gone up. I mean, pre-COVID, I was getting one cut for roughly about $5, maybe a little bit less, and we're bumping 8 now, 8 per cup. So it's like anything else that's going up.
Do those cups just test one substance, or do they test?
No,
Because I
now,
took one today for a physical.
yeah,
Then so I can
no,
have my
so,
medicines, I have to take.
so I can't speak to what the school tests for, but what we order through the sheriff's office, it tests for 20 different substances. It also will tell you if somebody's had alcohol in their system in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
And then it tests also for kratom and
Yeah,
all that
the
gas
school's the
station stuff.
same. It even does, which I was surprised it does, percentage
Mhm.
of it, which I thought was pretty cool, so.
Because I just happened, my doctor changed, I had to take a physical today. And for my medicines that I'm on, I had to take a drug test to make sure I'm taking my medicines. And not selling them, I guess, but there are little tubes lined up all the way around that cut.
And ours is the same way. Ours is 20 tubes,
That's
20
about
different
what- that's about what
substances.
that was.
The normal is anywhere from like 12 to maybe 14 or 16. But we deal with, of course, inmates, probationers, and all kind of different stuff that we gotta keep a check on.
But that doesn't seem like that should be that much to test our kids, 40, they were doing 15 7th and 8th graders and 30 high schoolers.
And like I said, without,
I mean,
That's all?
not- Yeah, so they were just doing the extracurricular activity
Yeah, but that would be for every sport though.
every month, once a month, right?
I can't, I
Doesn't
really,
sound like
I
that
hate to
much.
speak to that without major
No,
breakthrough.
it's not random.
It's-
My kids get
The test
tested.
is random, but the test come I think it was every month, I could be wrong, could be
I hate
quarterly.
to speak to that, cause that's more of Major Bradford's.
Yeah.
Sounds low to me, cause you have to, every time you go join a sport, you have to take a test, so, and then after you take that initial test, you have random testing.
Yeah, that's, okay.
So then that's 7th grade, 8th grade on
I
up.
can tell you, my son played all 4 years
Yeah,
before he graduated, and in all 4 years, I think he took maybe 3 is all.
well,
in the
that's,
4 years
my
that he
kids were
was in high school and wrestling.
all the time, I don't know why, but
And
I
it's
told Everett, are you
random.
It's a
sure?
good deterrent.
I'm sorry?
It's a good early detection, good deterrent.
Right.
Because some kids love their sports more than, and their curricular activities than they do their,
And, I think everybody in the room knows the heart of the sheriff's office.
oh, yeah.
We're here to support the community. This problem, opioid use, there's nobody exempt from it, nowhere in the US, unfortunately. And, every community, every commission, every sheriff's office, police department you're gonna have to deal with it. In this community, it's my opinion, and talking to some of the other counties around us, we've got a good thing going. If you talk about, if y'all go to your meetings and you're around, check with some other counties and ask them about the jails and programs offered and, resources, that people that really want help, there's something out there for them to step into and go to. So, I mean, in that aspect, we are blessed, and Major Bradford, of course, his set of meetings and mine are 2 different, we rarely attend together, but he's said before, he's been in some of his meetings and, as far as how the jails run and Hand Up and Hope House and everything that's involved, that it's not very common, that you find that in the county. So, I mean, it is something to be proud of. There is several different churches. It ain't just one church in the community. It's the Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventists, who, not missing anybody else. So it's not just a one church, because this happens every Thursday night, and any help is appreciated. You know, one church may come out and sponsor the dinner time, you know, for people that's going to see all. So that way people can get off work, go in, feed your kids, go in and sit down for counseling and get help. So,
Where's it held at each Thursday night?
Trenton Ministry Center.
Oh, it's behind the shopping center.
Yeah, it's a Bulldog Drive, right behind Bank of Dade downtown. So, and it's not, you know, it's not no big I's and little U's or nothing like that. You know, it's not about any one person or any one church, and we wouldn't be necessarily for that. And, you know, you try to remain as humble as you can and do the best you can is all you can do. That's all you're responsible for at the end of the day.
All right, appreciate it,
Same, Bill.
okay? But we'll wait till she gets back with Robin, and we'll all see the results of what they're actually, what we can spend it on, what we can, and we'll go from there, so. Let's move down to the number 10. This is our R-30-23. This is some surplus property that we need to dispose of. What do you got, Don? Man,
It's a 2002 Honda Rancher CRX 350 and a 1993 Yamaha Kodiak 400. Both are like four-wheelers.
they are, yeah.
Through the sheriff's office.
Confiscated property, right?
Seizures in the past. I don't know where
They've been down there a long time, though.
how they ended up with them, but anyway, they're put them out for,
They're extremely old drug seizures.
yeah, okay.
I come in the sheriff's office 2008, and both of them four-wheelers were here when I come to work here in 2008.
Yep. Yep. So, anybody got any questions on
They
that?
put them on gov deals.
Okay, on good deals, okay. All right. Move down to, the amendment to the hotel motel accommodations excise tax. That's ordinance number 0803-23. Don?
Okay, when we passed the hotel motel tax, excise tax, that was July 5th, 2018, we draft, like many ordinances draft, look at different counties and cities around the state, of course, and Robin did list the tax commissioner as under registration of lodging operator, the certificate of taxing authority, and then the tax remittance section, and then the transfer of funds. But we've been doing that 100%, our office, the county administrative office. So we're about to initiate the contract, you know, that we approved 2 or 3 months ago to monitor hotels, motels, operations in Dade County as far as short-term rentals. And I'd just like to start out fresh with the clean ordinance, because if we change it later, I don't want them to come back and say, well, you changed this, now we're gonna have to update the software or something. I don't know. I mean, to me, because we don't use the tax commissioner's office, and in fact, we've asked the tax commissioner, and she's not interested in doing it. Now, Robbie can talk to you about the reasoning
Yeah.
behind what we did.
Yeah,
So.
the reason it was drafted like that was because I was concerned of what we would do if someone was not paying taxes, and who would go in and enforce that. And frankly, in my mind, the tax commissioner is better suited for that than the board of commissioners. And the reason being is because the tax commissioner is under Georgia statutes, the ex officio sheriff, and so she can take action to enforce that. So that was the reason I originally did that. And that concern aside, is my understanding, we've not been doing it that way. We've not been following it that way. So really, that's up to you all if you want to amend this to conform to what we're actually doing. But anyway, that's what was done like that originally.
And when Georgia law changed a few years ago, they sent the taxing information to Dade County, Georgia, Dade County Commission. And so we get the checks. It never goes through the tax commissioner's office and then from there on to us. And really, I didn't want there to be any confusion from any other entities in town to think, oh, they get a portion of that too, because they're not entitled to excise tax for this particular excise tax, meaning the school board or anybody else. So that is the reason. It's just to update it's just to clean it up, because we're actually in violation of our own ordinance right now by the way we're doing it. But we're doing it and we're doing all the work, and so changing.
So we're gonna change it from the tax commissioner to the commissioner. That's what, because of where, okay. Yeah. That's the only
And we
change.
do this with other things like electrical permitting. Then we have the financial institution tax, where they submit that directly to the county. Insurance premium taxes are ultimately submitted to the county. So, those don't go through, those are all excise taxes, and they do not go through the tax commissioner either. But because if we had a problem, we would just take action based off of this and go through the courts, which would be, to begin with, the magistrate court, because there's a section here that talks about that. How to, what happens if someone fails to pay their hotel motel tax.
Okay.
It does include increasing this from 25 to 100. And then if you're late, it was 75, it's basically 3 times what it would be to get the certificate, operating certificate. And because you don't want to make money off of this, you just want to break even. And that puts us closer to breaking even. I'm not going to say we're going to break 100% even, but it's going to put us a lot closer to it. Some counties, that fee annually, was it $2,000? I put it in that email to y'all. I can't remember. That commissioner, he's a commissioner but we're not looking at charging anybody that kind of money for a certificate in Dade County at least.
So anyway, in my mind, it's just how you all want to do that. I don't see a legal, other than the concern that I expressed, I don't see any other legal reason to do one thing or the other. The other thing I would point out, though, is this is a ordinance, and so it will take 2 readings. And so if you all want to pass on first reading and then take the next month to review it and think about it, it's got to come back up a second time anyway.
Right.
So I would throw that out.
I'm good with it. I think it should change because it is going this direction in this office.
So that's what he's doing now. That's what we're doing. Lamar, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Mr. Hartline? We're not, but just get an opinion.
I'm good with this. When we do this though, I'm assuming, say if I was gonna build a place that was gonna house 30 or 40 people and they come in, they want an operating certificate, do I get this before I build my place, or do I get this afterwards?
After.
Okay.
Because you may choose to be a long-term rental, not a short-term rental.
Okay.
And if it's long-term, it doesn't apply.
Right, this is just for short term, and what, is it
Right.
30 days classified as short term,
I
or are we
think
90 days?
Not 30.
30.
Yeah, 30.
It's right under that 6 weeks.
You fine?
I'm good with it, yes.
Mr. Goff, okay. All right, put that on the consent agenda then. All right, let's move down to number 12. This is our 2023 millage rate schedule. Don, I know we heard from Angie there a little while ago on email. At least they're actually working on our,
Right,
So,
so,
go ahead.
let me give that to you. We have published online and a schedule which would put our possible meetings, first advertising our first and second public hearings. And what we're talking about here is for the passage of and adoption of a millage rate for Dade County in the unincorporated and the incorporated area. And so just to clarify, incorporated means the city's boundaries, and unincorporated is everything outside the city of Trenton. That would have begun the July 20th, and then our second and third final meeting would have been on Thursday, the July 27th. But if she's unable to get this information, what we call the consolidation sheets, back to us by tomorrow at noon, there's just not enough time to calculate this millage rate and have it audited initially, and then do all the necessary paperwork, because there's several forms involved, as y'all may recall. And I like to have multiple people look at the forms, because one error throws it all back and you have to start over. And we've only had to do that one time in 15 years, and it's not fun. So if you look on the back side, there's a late schedule, and all this does is pushes it off one more week. And it still puts us approving it the same day, ultimately, August 3rd, but we just have to back that last meeting up to 5 instead of at 5:30. And then the school board I think the school board told me they would be ready also at 5:30 that day. So that's why we put special call meeting to consider adoption of final millage rate and authorized tax collection of schools millage rate at 5:30 on August the 3rd. So instead of the 20th and the 27th, it moves everything to the 27th of July and August the 3rd. So there's nothing really to vote on. I can't really tell you which one we're gonna do until we get, the millage rate information. And so what's happened so far, as you can see through here, the digest was completed back in April. We went through the 45-day process through the Board of Assessors office, through the assessment notices being mailed, and then last Monday or Tuesday was the last day to file any appeals. So we actually did successfully get everything uploaded actually on Wednesday, and then Thursday everything was forwarded to the vendor that Tax Commissioner Angie Galloway uses. And they are a new vendor. Carroll County somehow beat us to the punch, which I don't understand how, but that's beside the point. And so they're already working on Carroll Counties. If they get it finished tonight, then it's possible they'll have ours done tomorrow. And again, if I can work with the Dade County Sentinel, because they're our legal organ to publish everything, then we'll stick to this schedule. But there's no rush. I mean, we want to do it right, and I feel like that, either schedule's going to be fine. And tax bills should go out on time, and we're hoping to have them out by as early as September 1st, which allows plenty of time for people to get their taxes paid well before November 15th, I think is the deadline. So.
All right. Any questions for Don?
No.
Okay. If not, I'll go ahead and we'll adjourn the,
What was special?
oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. Yeah, you did.
Wasn't not a problem. I just want us to take a little time, very little, because everything run long, but we've been talking about recyclables at the transfer station for 2 or 3 months. And I've got the church, and people look at me and say, so y'all are closing the transfer station? I don't know why people gets on social media, and that was never mentioned, but that's the take they take on it. First of all, to clear that up, that we're not talking about closing our transfer station, our collection of garbage, trash throughout the county. But we have been talking about the loss of money on cardboard and other things that we're recycling. And we just need to make a decision on what we're doing instead of, and at some point. And it's nothing, if we stop recycling altogether, it's nothing, you can't start back, and, if there becomes a market for it. But what's happening, people that had their market for it were bringing cardboard, for instance, down to our transfer station and dumping it, talking about businesses. Why would they do that? They had a market for it, but that market went away. So they found the cheapest way to get rid of it was to take it and dump it on the county and let the taxpayers then pay to send it on. So we have taken steps in that direction with some of the larger, dumpers of cardboard. But so we get on one page on this and whatever we're gonna do with it, and because so many people, we've talked about it in 2 or 3 different ways, and people are still not sure, are they taking recyclables? If they are they going to the recycling centers from Dade County, or are they being pulled out over here out of the bin and taken over and put in the dumpster? And if that's what we're doing, then we're just causing ourselves extra work by doing it to start with. Plus, there's no market for a lot of it. And a lot of it is, Monica Mosley was in here 2 years ago and told us about the Chinese thing and the dirty plastic and all that. People putting everything in it, from tobacco spit to, needles where they do their, the
Yes, sir.
diabetics,
Yeah.
putting needles in milk jugs and using that as the disposal, and then you're putting it in there wanting somebody to use it. So there's been a lot of things that have happened over the years, but we just need to at some point decide what we're gonna do about it and put it out for the citizens to see, and then post it down there that until further notice, there would be none. Or take it back and as we have been going and just let it go and there'll be no difference, so. But the fact that we're not closed, I did want that statement made. We are not talking about closing our transfer station, not at all. We can't. We got,
It's always garbage.
yeah,
Always gonna be
it's
garbage.
always, it's gonna be here as long as there's a world, but we're only talking about the recyclables, cardboard, tin, aluminum, plastic, I guess, is basically and newspapers. That there's really no market for in our area anywhere, so.
Mr. Hartline, you want to comment? Let's go around the table on it. I mean, as far as,
I know did we start charging the businesses for dumping?
we already,
We're doing that.
and we took that out. We sent all of them that were, because they were loading us up on
We
cardboard.
know,
They was
how long,
getting
how
from
long
that.
we've been doing that?
A few months,
Since, yeah.
a few months,
Actually, not quite 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months, yeah.
yeah.
Is that making any difference in the amount of money we're losing?
It does. I have a problem with losing, so with the word losing, because this is an entity that we give the county, so it's a service, but go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
That's my thing. I'd like to do that long enough to see if it's gonna make much of a difference. But if not, I mean, if we don't have anywhere to take it, and we're taking it in and taking it right up there and putting it in our dumpster, then there's no point in taking it at all,
I got comments on that too,
so.
but we'll go around.
Mr. Lowry, and we're not taking a vote. I just want an opinion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is we can't get good information. I mean, I've asked Billy 3 or 4 different times, give me a number, tell me a flat number that recycling center's costing us. You seen what we get. Something Don needs to help him with, I think, or somebody financial, cause it's all over the board. I mean, I get told it's anywhere from $100,000 to $120,000 we're losing at the recycle station.
Well, you can
If it's
take,
that much, we can't afford to do that.
Not
year.
to interrupt you either, but so for close to 8 months to a year before, a few months ago, I had been working on it. So the commission office has helped tremendously. We do have those numbers now. We had a meeting with Billy. He should have those numbers too. But it was put in the paper, the numbers. So it's not that amount. You're looking at maybe 2,000 to 25, probably a month. I'd have to do some calculations. Let me get you a better number than that. So we're talking about 90 divided by, yes.
so while she's calculating, let me just answer a little tidbit. You should be able to just take the revenue that we get for recycling, subtract out the expense, and that's what that's what it costs. That's the net cost to the taxpayers.
Getting no revenue.
Oh, there's revenue.
Yes, there is revenue.
It's on our reports every month, yeah.
What I've been told, so.
Yeah,
That's what I
There's
want to
revenue,
do.
it's just not,
We've been getting revenue.
it's not
forever.
enough revenue to cover
The cost.
the cost of, I think what we
It's
need to,
gone down.
if whatever we do with this, we need, when we're talking about a truck driving up there to do it, we need to look at something like the IRS mileage, not just a truck and a driver.
We did all that. we've looked at the truck, we've looked at the gas, we've looked at the electrics, lights, the whole building, the person that runs it, the insurance, we have all those numbers. And it's still, it's not, I have a problem with losing money. It's still something that is offered to the county, so I don't consider it as a loss. The loss is where the cardboard is not costing this much, it's costing this much now. And that was our big moneymaker. So, has it ever made money? At one point it did make a little bit of money, but it was not enough that it was like, oh, we got a huge moneymaker. It was enough to kind of break it even, but it's not now. So, and then when you talk about recycling, you've got to talk about newspaper, cardboard, plastic, oil, tires. Those are all things that are considered recycling, that we recycle. White item, is it white items? Is that what it's called?
Refrigerators.
Yeah,
Refrigerator, yeah.
refrigerators.
Iron,
And we make money off of the white
Some of the scrap
Yeah,
iron
scrap.
stuff, yeah.
Tires. We haven't went up in price on tires in a long time, so we could look at that. So it's a big,
Yeah, I called Walker County today, and theirs are $5.50 for a tire without a rim, car tire, car truck.
yeah, and ours are 2.
Ours are, I think, 3 is what I could be, and then it was 50 cents if it was still on the rim. So it'd be $6 for if it's on the rim.
Yeah.
I called Walker County today, couldn't get a hold of Catoosa or Chattanooga. But that's my biggest concern is.
Well, Billy's latest number, well, Billy's.
25,000
yeah.
or is it 125,000?
It's
It
close
makes a big
to,
difference.
it's close to 90 a year. I mean,
90,000 a year.
Yeah.
We're losing.
Well,
Well,
it's
It's
not
not
a lot.
recovering.
we're not
Yeah.
Let's say
making.
not
yeah, that we're-
recovering if we don't want to
that's
use
right.
losing.
It's
That was-
costing us $90,000 a year to provide this service for the community.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's, if
That's-
we want
that's
to
a lot.
word it in the right way.
And it's not like it could never start back if a market comes back
Exactly.
for it. It's-
And
costs
also along with
$400,000 for
that,
ambulance.
though, you have to think about how it's being operated. Is it being operated correctly? Are we, it took a year for me to get these numbers and work on how this was operating and looking. So are we operating it correctly? Or is there things we could do better to make it run better? Have we called these companies and said, hey, can we get better rates? Where do we need to do? What do we need to do? How do we need to do it? We haven't done those things. So for me, it's a bigger picture and a lot more work than just cardboard's not costing this much anymore.
Well, I mean,
90,000
It's
is more than
90.
I want to lose, so that's just, you can take that for whatever it's worth.
Robert?
Well,
Well,
with,
like I said, how, I mean, it's just,
with that
it's just
said
to decide
too,
what we're gonna do for the public, or either not do anything or decide what we are gonna do until further notice. But if it's, I mean, like Lamar, if it's 90,000, that's a pretty good chunk of money to not be recovering.
well, here's the numbers for the transfer station. So, in the transfer station is really within about $1,000 either breaking even. And this is gonna be in my report tonight.
That's what goes across the scales.
So this is pretty much, if you break this down for like 6 months, this is like half of a year right here. And this is pounds and this is tons. And, so we're doing this, our other portion of it is a service that we would not discuss taking it away. and it doesn't make money, you know, so that's just, that's my thoughts, you know, so, and I feel like the transfer station, and I'm working on it, and we've talked about it, it needs to be rerouted a little bit to get those numbers up, that we're actually making some money off of the transfer station. So, you know, it's a big combined picture that
Well, we just need to, you know, between now and our August meeting, because not, you know, really, we need to, but we need to be able to come in here and decide whether we're gonna actually, for 6 months, cut it off, you know, cut the recycling and until something, maybe it'll pick up. Right now, though, you know, it's roughly, and I've looked at the numbers more than how many times, but 90,000 is a good number. I mean, that's what we call it, whether we're losing it, that's what it's costing us to recycle. It's non-recoverable, I mean, right now, because there's not anybody behind it. In fact, it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna pay us, we're gonna have to pay them to take it.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
90,000 too,
Yeah.
that does not include tires, oil, and white appliances.
I thought the appliances was in it, but it might not have been, yeah. But anyway, we'll get serious,
Where
but
we have-
be prepared next month to come in.
Where are we
here.
having to truck it to now? When we have.
Different.
Can we still take it to Chattanooga, or is it having to go,
It's Chattanooga.
still taking it to Chattanooga?
Mainly Chattanooga, yeah. Except for the tires and what's they swap out trailers on
Yeah.
it, and, yeah. So y'all, that'd be something to
And there
be
is
thinking about.
problem, there
Yeah.
is problems there with, there is problems with recycling, stuff being put into the recycling. We've all seen it. There is problems with recycling being put in the garbage that doesn't need to be there. Those are all, they are problems. It's real, and that's operations. So,
I was reading what Robert said. I've been reading a lot about recycling and plastics and cardboard in our landfill, but I was thinking about what you said. If somebody puts insecticide in a drinking bottle, in a recyclable bottle, plastic bottle, it can ruin the whole batch of plastic that's in. Because those chemicals spread throughout that whole batch of plastic. A lot of and I don't know why, or I do know it's because of money, but I don't know why we don't have a deposit like some states have, where you would guarantee that bottle would go back to the recycling, just like we used to when we was kids. You didn't see a Coca-Cola bottle on the side of the road very long.
Got 3 cents for it.
Yeah, I think we got a nickel back, Tom,
Yeah, you was a kid.
yeah,
One up.
yeah, we got a
Yeah.
nickel. Find 4 or 5 Coke bottles, you had a candy bar and a Coke.
Yeah.
It looks like we got $14,500. Not much. That used to be $60,000, which again, 60 is not that much, but it has dropped a lot. And Monica Mosley of Republic Services would sit here tonight and tell you, it's only gonna get worse. But she would also say, if you can go out and find that end user, the person that wants to buy the
Exactly.
plastic,
Yep.
the number 3 whatever, the number 2 this, or the yellow, sometimes they will make arrangements to pick it up for you.
They will.
Sometimes they'll buy it from you, but you gotta find them. And it takes time and energy for somebody to go out and hunt that person. But once you do, you know, it could be great. Think about Amazon, how many boxes they produce. I mean, where are they getting it, right? I mean, you know, go to the post office here around December the 13th. Oh my gosh, it's all Amazon package boxes. It looks like Box City in there. And so, I mean, you know, where do they buy their boxes? I don't know. But
then it's cheaper for companies, especially drink bottles. It's cheaper for them to buy raw material than it is to recycle. And that's why it's happening.
Okay, let's just give it some thought and be ready, you know, make a decision on it if we got to, in one way or the other. Whether we're gonna do it or not, and we'll, come the August meeting, we'll make a decision on it. And any other thing? Okay, if not, we'll go ahead and adjourn our work session and go right into it. We'll take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll go into our regular meeting. Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't do me that way.
It looks just like mine.
Got it, Savannah. That's where my
You got the red light blinking up here.
No, green.
Yeah, flash it.
If the red light's blinking, then
There you go. Yep, got it now. All right,
Give me just a second, Ted.
do what now?
Give me just a second, I'm trying to
Okay,
get
go
this
ahead.
thing to open up.
Yours hung up.
I have to go to, sometimes I have to go to open it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
You ready, Lamar?
Just give me one. I hate when it does this. Open it up here, I guess.
No, you can't scroll down. Do it again. I think we need to update our computers. We'll give it a minute. It's trying to.
That's not that. Is yours on over there?
Yeah.
Go to commissioner, go to the reports and see if I can see mine. If I can't, I'll borrow yours and do it.
On his report, on the,
Report, see if, no, here, it came up.
Did it finally pop up? Okay.
all right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting order and said, as always, before we get started here, we ask, Robert Goff here to lead us in prayer and pledge of allegiance. Robert, if you would, and everyone stand, please.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for letting us be here tonight. We thank you for where we live and our families, our homes, our friends, just everything, Lord, that we have that makes this home. We thank you, Lord, for this commission and for these that are here tonight. For those that are listening at home and will listen later, for the citizens of this county, that again make it a great place to live and to raise our families. Father, we pray as always that you would bless what we do here tonight, that it would be the best of the benefit that we can bring to this county. And Lord, we thank you as we ask you to bless our nation, and we just come through this holiday week, commemorate our founding. And Father, we just pray that you would continue to bless the United States of America, its military, its law enforcement, its teachers, its citizens, Lord, that we would just begin to see just how blessed we are, and that we would turn to you and give thanks for that. For all this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice of this meeting was given to our legal origin, the Dade County Sentinel, and has also been posted in our hallway of the administrative building. At this time, I do need a roll call. Mr. Lowry?
Present.
Hartline?
Here.
Mr. Goff?
Here.
Mr. Bradford?
Here.
And Chair's present. Move down to number 2. Anyone here tonight want to talk to us tonight, come up to the mic. Give you 5 minutes there to tell us who you are okay.
I am Jennifer Blair, and I want to just start by saying thank you, Commissioner Bradford, for your investigative efforts, as well as your advocacy for the service that is the transfer station and the recycling. It will likely not surprise any of you that I care deeply about this issue. And I think that it's important to remember that while a line item on the county budget is extremely important to our citizenry and to this board specifically, the topic of resources boils down to not just money. So yes, there is an economic expense associated with the way in which a community deals with and separates or doesn't separate their resources. whether that's lumping it all together and calling it waste, or separating it into things which can be reused or repurposed. Metal, for example, can be infinitely recycled. Glass is the same way, infinitely recycled. Cardboard and paper, along with other biodegradable materials like kitchen scraps, can be composted and turned into nutrient-dense topsoil, which our farmers and gardeners desperately need. So I think that there are ways to approach what could be seen as a problem of the waste stream in really creative ways that are beneficial, not only in a monetary sense, but also otherwise. I would also just like to point out that if we do discontinue our recycling options at the transfer station, all of those materials don't go away. We still, as a community, have to decide how we're going to deal with them, which, again, could be lumping them all into one container and shipping them off to a landfill. But landfills are extremely expensive, and they're also problematic in other ways. Even once they're closed, they have to be monitored and regulated indefinitely. And then you have to find a new location to which you can send all of those landfill-bound materials. So I just think that those considerations are worth mentioning within the context of this decision. We do, if I understand correctly, utilize a landfill, Sand Valley, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
The landfill that we utilize?
Yeah, in
In Sand
Collinsville.
Valley, Alabama, down in Collinsville, yep. That's
Yeah.
it, that's where all of our garbage goes, yeah.
And so I'm curious, do county employees actually take it to that location? Is it picked up?
Picked up, it's contracted, you know,
Yeah,
It's contracted. And do we know what the life expectancy of that landfill is?
100 years, they got another 100 years.
Another 100 years.
They've had
Yeah.
up to feet they bought. From what I understand, when the lady was here before, they actually got another 400 acres that they bought, so there's another 100 years. Yeah.
Okay. So, just to be clear, the grandchildren of you gentlemen will be having to decide what to do with our materials, discarded materials, in that time frame when that landfill is closed. And that landfill will then, again, have to be monitored and regulated indefinitely, because oftentimes, even when sealed, they leach very dangerous and toxic pollutants into the environment. So I just wanted to sort of expand the conversation a little bit, because I think it's reductive to imply that because there's a monetary expense associated with recycling, that it, as you so aptly pointed out, that's a loss, because there are other considerations that are
And
extremely
we will,
relevant.
we're gonna look at everything, because it's something, we've not had this problem since we started recycling. We've always kept it going, for years. So we're not just gonna make a drastic decision, but, we're gonna look at everything, pros and cons, yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that, and I appreciate that consideration. I just wanted to, as a concerned citizen, make a comment. So,
Okay.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Part
Jim.
of the problem is big money, is big factories. One of the number one producers of plastic bottles is Coca-Cola. But yet they give more money to Keep America Beautiful than any other organization. That keep America Beautiful off their back. You know, 'cause I've read all about this since we've been going through what we are about.
It's hugely problematic, and from the manufacturer's side, as you indicate, that's a very real culprit. And also on the consumer side, consumers need to get a clue, and they need to be appropriately disposing of the materials that they choose to consume. We go to the store and we make these purchases based on the price tag and based on the contents, but we should also be making purchases based on the container. Those are very real, everyday decisions that every single individual with $1 in their wallet can make. So I think that
And it's fixable, that's what's a shame.
it absolutely is fixable, absolutely.
but it's cheaper to use raw material than it is to recycle. And
It's cheaper in certain ways. In other ways, it's more expensive. I mean, to cut down a forest to create, virgin paper is very costly in terms of all kinds of things: habitat loss, carbon sequestration. The ways in which we utilize our resources and then do or do not utilize them at the other end of that sort of linear waste stream is really something that we should all be reconsidering as representatives and also as consumers and individuals.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming.
And I offer anybody to call and give me their opinion, so
I appreciate that.
I hope anybody that feels strongly call, give me, whether it's either way, I would like somebody to give me their opinion.
Okay. Anyone else? Feel free to come up. It's just, Audrey, you got anything you want to add tonight or anything? I mean, we don't have a crowd here tonight, so, Okay, do what now? Well, you were out there running.
Yeah, she done had her time.
Okay, we'll move on then. But we're not going to just jump into this. It's a big decision, and it's, so
Well, we've been working on it for a long
long time.
I mean, it just kind of came up now because we do have all the numbers and there is a lot of complaints, and so it's not anything that we have put lightly or have not looked at. Since I came into office, we've been looking at it. Ted and I have talked about rearranging things over there for better results. So it's not anything that it is lightly looked at. It is we are looking,
Okay.
Lots of people are looking at all the information.
All right. We'll move on. Just do what now? You what?
she does have something.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
You got
Wait a minute. Come up here. Okay.
Cool.
to get the stick for that one.
Just a quick thing, Christmas in July, I guess you'd say, actually met with the Sheriff's Department last week, and we discussed the Christmas parade and the Christmas crossing, because they want to coordinate that along with the Christmas parade. So we have set December 9th, the second Saturday of December, for the Christmas parade this year. And the Sheriff's Department will be doing the Christmas crossing on December the 9th over here in the gazebo park. And the time frame they're looking at is maybe 2 hours prior to our parade. And this year's theme will be Christmas movies for anybody that wants to start on it early, Christmas movies. So we'll send out more information, but we're moving it mainly because of the SEC playoffs that first Saturday of December. A lot of people wants to be at home or whatever to watch that game, especially when it's some of our teams that's playing in it. So we are going to shoot for the second Saturday, December 9th,
All right.
for the Dade County Christmas Parade, sponsored by the Bank of Dade.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. Let's see here. We got that. Mr. Lowry, you want to go ahead with your report?
Okay, the
Meeting
call, the 911 call activity report for, let's see, this is all of June. We had 206 emergency services calls. It's ambulance, EMS. We had 279 fire department calls. Police calls were 2282. So the total calls for the month were 2767. It's down a little bit, believe it or not, but that's good.
It's a good thing.
So it's down a little bit, that's good. And then the E911 addresses were 17. for a total of 60 for the year of every month added. For this year has been 60. So we keep up with that. Ted will probably report some more on this too, but we made progress on the Steel and Gwen Road leading out to Belt, emergency exit for the folks that live on the north end. Rain, as Philip can attest, is really holding things up. So we're doing the best we can. I've had multiple calls, and I know Ted has, about the traffic on 299 and the right-of-way being cut off. It was last fall, wasn't it, Ted? Last fall, me and Ted rode around with Rex Harrison was with us, and 2 people from the state. They told us they'd get the right-of-ways cleaned off, but they're still hanging out in the road. And we don't have, all we can do is ask. Ted may have some more to put on this, but.
Just that I met with them again last week, and they'll be back up, the state people will be back up this following week, but they gotta do something about this traffic. I mean, I don't know, I mean, it's a state highway, what do you know, and I was in it the other day, almost an hour just to get from interstate down to get on 11, and you know, they say they've got engineers working on it, they're looking at it and all. They come up with everything from a roundabout to a, you know, but this, it's getting worse and worse, you know, and
I mean, and it's not just during the week, it's a Saturday and Sunday now.
And now we got the tourists, you got summer here, and you got these people trying to get home from work and get, you know, it's just, I mean, it's bad. And
I think people were worried when they heard, I don't know if it was talked about maybe a new business coming to 299, the water line that the water companies.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to put under the freeway, maybe a new business coming.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do if they get a new business with traffic in there, a 2-lane road.
It'll all have to be put together. They'll have to be involved in the whole decision of everything.
Yeah.
Because that's what, you know, that affects the whole community, you know, but anyway, that's something, you know,
But we're not just taking phone calls and turning our head, we're begging and pleading, trying to get something done about the traffic. And now it's spilling over into Sligo.
Oh, yeah.
And they're coming off Morganville Ridge, and then that makes 299 even worse, because there's not a break to get out.
Yeah.
But those are state roads, and there's only so much we can do, and we're begging. I mean, we're begging and pleading. I don't mind begging if it'll help people. So.
All right.
The last thing I got is, it's on the transfer station again. I called and talked to them. We're trying to figure out what the best thing to do is for everybody. But don't blame the employees for what we're doing. I talked to the guy that runs the weigh station, I think Brian, maybe today.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't believe how many people will, let's cuss them out for decisions that we make. Some people don't like the idea of having to go to the hill to pay for non-household trash, mattresses. And they'll back up out there to the dumpsters and throw a mattress in that dumpster that they had to dig out. And then if our employees say anything to them, it just about starts a fight. So if you gotta pick on somebody, call your commissioners. That's what we were elected for. We have to do what we've gotta do, but I served on the tax assessor's board, and it's pitiful the way some of our employees, and I'm sure I could say that nearly about every department, our sheriff's office, our E911, I'm sure it's everybody. I know it was in the tax board, and we've had people in our office that we've had to have the sheriff come and remove them. And so take it easy on our employees. They work hard, they don't make a lot of money, and they're loyal employees. And I just hate to see people treated like that. And I'd be glad you can call and cuss me. I mean, that's what I took the job for, I guess, and see if I can help. So that's all I have.
All right, Mr. Hartline.
All right, at the sports complex last month, Stacy and them, they put out 500 tons of sand on the soccer fields. All-star baseball finished up. None of our teams went to state. 12U's been practicing, 12U baseball's been practicing, and they've played in a couple of select tournaments. They're planning a tournament to have in Trenton, July the 29th and 30th, 8U through 12U. And then there's some that's trying to find a fall league to play on. Soccer had a camp last week and is planning on starting back in August with the fall soccer. I guess football's probably doing signups at this time. And in the month of June, electrical inspections, we had 28. So we had 28 electrical inspections, but then in the month of June, we had 17 911 addresses. So, I mean, we're running close to the same as how many addresses Alex is putting out a month as we are in electrical inspections. So we're getting new properties every month. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Goff?
All right, I've been kind of under the weather this month and don't know a bunch. I had a knee replaced on the 12th, if you wonder why I'm hobbling around. But I'm getting around good, but they tell me, but they're not the one feeling it. Would like to report, now last month our splosh was down to $262,465, back up this month, thankfully, to $313,085, and that's a great increase of about 51,000. Sometimes it seems like there's no rhyme or reason for it, but we'll sure take it when we can get that kind of increase month over month and not going back down. So thank you for shopping local, and again, whatever factors come together to make that all possible. One thing I would like to say, and Mr. Ross has left us for tonight, but out at New Salem and on Saturday they had their fireworks. Also sold some very good barbecue chicken and stuff during the day, and I know a lot of people went out to it and enjoyed that. And then of course on the 4th of July, 1945 days at the Jenkins Park across the road over here. And I'd like to thank all those people. There's no way of knowing who all of them were, but this takes months to put this stuff together. But when you get to go out and you see it and you're a part of it and you realize what it means to live in small town America and get to still enjoy these kind of things and see all your friends and your neighbors, kids having a great time. So to whoever is involved in New Salem every year, I know they were down this year because the probability of some bad weather that didn't happen, I don't think as bad as it could have. And also to those who put on the 1945 days, it's second to none what we do here in Dade County and Trenton and all the people that are involved with it. So thank you for, like Audrey talking about already, I wish you wouldn't talk about Christmas in July, but Christmas will be here before July will be over, the way it seems. But to live in that small town where you get to do these kind of things is priceless. So thank everybody that's involved with it.
Okay, Ms. Bradford.
Well, I have to agree with that. I was able to participate. I also have had surgery, so I'm kind of down on my numbers, but it just really was fantastic. It was just seeing all the people and all the people enjoying everything. It takes a lot to do that, especially on a hot day. So it was pretty awesome. I want to touch I did not get the numbers for transit, but I just wanted to put that out there, in the senior center. I did not get their numbers this month, but I'm sure they're still rocking and rolling. We've been discussing quite a bit, have been working really hard on getting all of our numbers correct, getting programs put in place, computer programs. So we finally got some good numbers of outgoing garbage totals, and it's an average from 40, 45 looks like a month going out. So it is. What I do want to say about it is all kind of grouped together, and recycling does affect the transfer station, and it's not a small task at all to look at, and it hasn't been abandoned, it's been looking at, we've been changing things, and we may or may not come back next month and have a straight answer, because I think it is definitely an ongoing process. And I do agree with Lamar, you know, we put in policy, and the people work the policy to the best of their abilities. And, you know, those people over there, it's hot, it smells, you know, they're working hard. That's their job. They take pride in what they do every day to get up to go there. So I definitely agree with, you know, have any problems, please call me. I'm pretty easy to talk to. You know, this is a big part of me since I came in. I just kind of grabbed a hold of it. Anybody's welcome. I mean, Lamar's been there. We're all working on it, but it's just something that I kind of, for some reason, grabbed to. So please call me with any problems or concerns or ways to do it better, or, you know, anything like that. It would be great. And that's all I got to say.
Okay. Good report. I'll start off. It's been like a quick month. I don't even know where it's went here. You know, here it is July. We did host a meeting though here in this room with the EPD. They had asked call a couple months ago, and we had a couple of new people come up from our EPD. They're actually our enforcement people with Environmental Protection Division in the state of Georgia. Had several contractors here, and it was pretty informative. A lot of rules have changed now with environmental protection in the state of Georgia. The way you actually permit a job, if you, anything over an acre and a half or anything over an acre, you got a whole new process to go through before you actually start construction. And they brought a lot of information with them, and we got some good phone numbers, contacts. Our contractors did, where they can deal directly with these people. And so it was really a good meeting. I know Philip attended, and it's pretty informative. And so anyway, that's pretty critical, because as Philip mentioned, you know, on his report, we've got a lot of things happening here. We got a lot of houses, a lot of when he talks about building inspections or electrical inspections, and Alex doing 911 address. That's new properties that are being developed in this county. And if you keep up with this in the next few months, or have been keeping up with it, we're changing. You know, I don't care what the 2020 census says or whatever. There's a lot of people coming in this county, and not a whole lot leaving either. So, but anyway. That was pretty interesting, you know, to have those people up here. I've met several times virtually with the DOT this month on different things, mainly the 299 traffic issue up here. I'm trying to get them back in here next week, and we've got to get some answers up there of whatever they recommend, whatever they're going to do. I mean, we have some input in it. But not as much as you would think. It is a state highway, and they've got their own engineers, they've got their own way of doing things, and I know they're aware now that there is a problem. I've gave them pictures, videos, and the whole thing. So, I mean, we just have to bear with it and see what they come up with. But something's got to give up there. I mean, it's got to a point, and it's not just on Friday. Used to it was on Friday evenings or whatever. Now it's almost daily, especially if there's any kind of accident on the interstate and they start diverting traffic. You know, you've got Sligo with tractor trailers on it. You've got, you know, it's a scary situation, and hopefully in the next few months we'll be able to iron that out with them and see what's going on.
You got them getting off in Marion County and coming down to 299.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's bad, but as Lamar mentioned too, on our two kind of emergency roads that we're working on, we've got the one up on the north end, and we would have got this one finished in there because it's going to be real easy, pretty easy at Vanguard, tying Clark Street into it. But that one up there, the rain is it's a mess up there right now. We were waiting on a structure to be moved, and they did get that moved last week down at the main entrance to it. So if we can get maybe 4 to 5 days on that up there, we'll be finished with that. And those people will be able to get out. And since then, since we even started, they've been blocked in probably 7 times, a couple of times over 2 to 3 hours. So I know they're looking forward to it, and they see the importance of it. But we're doing all we can do on it. We can't control Mother Nature, that's for sure. Been working with the IDA. I go over this pretty quick, with Evan a lot. Evan's doing a lot of work. He's doing a good job. It's amazing how many people or how many industries now that they've actually contacted, and we've got really 2 really good hits there that he didn't really go in detail tonight, but really good. I mean, high-paying jobs. And the problem is going to be, if either one of them locates or whatever, is finding people to work. That's what worries me, because we do have. We're one of the lowest unemployment rates now in the whole state. I mean, not just in our Northwest Georgia region, but when I got it the other day, the white column is actually the people that are 2% and less or whatever. And there's only like 5 of those in the whole state, the counties that even compare to ours, and in Northwest Georgia region, we're of course the lowest. So, but anyway, it'd be great to land either one of these people that they've been dealing with, because they super high paying jobs. Been dealing with also the DOT real quick on, they're trying to say that we actually now are responsible for the access coming into the interstate highway, where it comes up to the interstate bridges. And I was before, you get off the interstate turn, right or left, and you'll go with a real wide section that's state maintained. And then when you narrow down into our county road, that's where you and I are supposed to keep up, with the paving, keep that maintained. Well, the state's come out now, and they're trying to say that they've given that all the way to the county. So all these exits that's got all the truck traffic and all that they constantly having to maintain, they're trying to put that on the county, which is a lot. I mean, it's a tremendous amount, especially with the truck traffic coming in and out. So meeting with them, that's another reason they're coming in next week. And got some old plans and prints that show where the interstate access is, and where the state actually maintenance starts, and where ours starts. So hopefully we can get a remedy to that, because we've got a couple of places, one in South Dade, it's terrible. I mean, it's dangerous. There's so many holes down there. So anyway, let me see if there's anything real quick. The 136, I've mentioned this months ago, about how, the speeding issue and accidents up there coming across the mountain, and also trucks coming in. We got more and more. Hopefully that'll be taken care of in the next month or so. They're going to actually double line all that through that straight stretch there where the restaurants are out there, where Geneva's, or the old Geneva's 136 restaurants at. Hopefully that'll happen, and they're going to put hopefully some new signage up there too, to try to slow people down. Let me see here. Yesterday was in a meeting from 8:30 for 3 hours, I guess, over in Walker County, with the DA, and also the Shannon, the sole commissioner, not sole commissioner, but Shannon, their chairman, and then we had the sole commissioner of Chattooga County, and Catoosa County, their manager, also participated. And that is all over budgeting issues with the DA. DA's got a lot of problems keeping attorneys. They can't, they come out of school, hire them, work for us maybe 6 months, and realize that they can go to a county in Floyd County, whatever, making $20,000, $30,000 more than they're making. So it's really hurting the office as a whole. They're down six attorneys in our circuit, and crime is not going. It's kind of, it don't have to go down, it's going up, and they don't really know what they're going to do if they keep losing people, because they're finding it harder to replace them. And so we did spend a lot of time discussing that. Of course, we've already set our budget with the DA here. We're satisfied with what we're getting, as far as our money's worth. But Walker, of course, is 3 to 4 times our size. Catoosa and even Chattooga, but the two big players are Walker and Catoosa, and they're kind of, well, especially Walker, kind of holding back on funding, as per se. So I don't know, we just got to get all our heads together and then try to work it out, especially with the DA. We do have a new DA, and he's real. He seems like he's going to be really good to work with. So anyway, that was a pretty lengthy meeting yesterday. Y'all got anything else that y'all want to bring up before?
I got one thing.
Okay.
I've had a few phone calls about our elections building. We would have been started on the dirt work part of it, trying to get the grade cut down. Alex is working on getting stormwater for the project. We've got a preliminary drawing of the footprint. We don't have no elevations yet, and we do not have a projected cost at the time, but once we figure out, when we get the pad cut out and figure out how we're gonna situate the building and how we're gonna make it work out, then we will look at getting the elevation plans for the drawing and get some preliminary costs, so we'll know what we're dealing with.
And really, we would have started, but the 4th of July celebration there, we were going to do it the week before. I think I might have mentioned this, I don't remember. But anyway, we realized that we would have a whole area of parking torn up when the 4th of July celebration would have been on 4th of July. And so we backed up on that. Had we started it, it would have been decent weather. We would have already had that pad built. So if we can get just a few days of weather, we can get that taken care of, at least down to the grade, So.
And our time frame on it, we're trying to get it completed before next year's election.
That's right.
That is our goal.
That's exactly right.
Completion date.
Yep. Yep. So, anybody else got anything they want to add? Okay. All right. We'll move on down. Okay. Our library. Yeah, come on up. We got Laura Beth, but she's next, I think, next week.
Yeah, I had to make sure I was actually speaking.
No, you
tonight
are.
when I
You
saw
are.
somebody else's name on there.
No.
All right, here are our June stats. Our door count was at 2,684. A lot of that increase is our summer reading program. We're averaging about 150 folks on Thursdays coming to our summer reading programs, and County Executive Rumley and Mayor Case participated at one of our June programs. They read stories and were there for our Touch a Truck out front. It was very well received, a lot of great comments. We've been getting feedback, asking folks for their opinion on the different programs, and everybody loved that one. So we appreciate y'all coming out. Our circulations, let's go back to stats, that's all right. Over 4,000 circulations. Once again, our computer usage, 250, printer use, 422. Our study rooms were used 47 times in the month of June, with 91 folks in those study rooms. Our meeting room was used 4 times with 40 folks. If you look at our summer reading kids programming, we've had 4 programs. That second number, 358 children were there. We have door counters. We have our teen volunteers. Somebody's got the kids' door counter and somebody's got the adult door counter. Carrie's 2 wonderful children are our teen volunteers. 2 of our teen volunteers, so I've got them on those door counters.
She's in deep thought over there,
I know it. And the other number is our total number, 573 for the month of June, entering the library for the summer reading. The teen reading program, we've had 2 programs. We've had 18 kids total between those programs. Our adult program, we had 3 programs for adults in June, and we had 24 folks come out for that. We had a local author. She wrote a book called Rising Fawn. It was a novel that took place in Rising Fawn and in Atlanta. So she did a reading and a signing of that, and then she did a writing workshop. And a lot of our local patrons came out and did a writing workshop on writing your family stories, which we know people in Dade County have a lot of family stories. So I'm hoping that we're having a publishing workshop in August. So I'm really hoping some of those people are going to come back with maybe some finished material and can get some ideas on how to go about getting that published. We also partnered with the school system. We were a satellite site for the summer feeding program through the school. So we would go every morning and pick up some sack lunches and bring them to the library. We served 350 lunches during the month of June. So we were really grateful to be able to help with that. We had a lot of folks coming into the library. They would come to our program and then stay for lunch. So that was really, obviously it was very well utilized. And that time with teacher down there, I'm going to get into that on the next slide. Maybe not the next slide. Sorry. These are some of our prize winners. If you did the summer reading challenge and you read 20 minutes a day for a total of 7 weeks, even though the summer reading program is not over, we already have a ton of people that have completed the challenge and chosen a book for their home library. So this is one family, all 4 kids have their books that they chose to take home with them.
This is our Time with Teacher program. We have been trying to get this grant for the last couple years. We had this a couple years ago. We were not funded with the grant. Other library systems were chosen based on the fact that they hadn't had it before. But during Library Day at the Capitol, our director, Lisa Eubanks, and our assistant director, Chelsea K., I have a hard time with her last name. Thank you, Kovaleski. I thought there was another syllable in there, but they went and spoke, and they met with Mike Cameron specifically, and he found some private funding for our Time with Teacher tutoring program. And what that is, it's a free tutoring program for anybody that can come. They sign up. All of our teachers are vetted. They're either retired, but they're all certified teachers, and they are paid through this grant money, and we have funding to get us through an entire year of funding this program. And anyone can bring their children in for free one-on-one tutoring with teachers. So we've already, if you saw that last slide, by the time I wrote that, we already had 13 students, and we'd only been open for a week, coming and getting free tutoring for an hour. It's really easy. They just go to our website, chrl.org/tutor. You also see Time with Teacher at the top. You click on that. You choose which branch you want to go to. So we have 3 branches in Walker County, 1 here in Dade County. And then from there, you have bios of all the different teachers. We have 8 teachers signed up with our program right now. And then they just put their availability and the subjects that they want to tutor in. We have materials for them to use for those as well. I think we had 4 today, we had 4 yesterday, we had a couple on Saturday, so we're really excited to be able to institute that program again. We have our Ask a Lawyer days, as I mentioned. I didn't talk last month. They called us and they wanted to extend our cooperative effort. They're gonna be with us once a month through December at this point because they've had such a good turnout. They usually have all of their slots filled. They come to the library and they offer free civil legal advice. So if you wanna set up an appointment with them, you have to call that number because they do an intake. So please, we have that number posted on our Facebook page. You can call the library. We will give you that number because they want to do some intake with you before you come and meet with them. But the next upcoming dates will be August 10th, September 7th, and October 5th, in addition to July 13th. I'm just going to highlight real quick a few of our July summer reading programs. We've got Beaten Path Rhythms coming back. They were really popular last year. They're doing 2 programs for us. They're doing a rhythmic celebration with the kids. Everybody gets a percussion instrument. It's pretty loud in the library. That's what we should call it, loud in the library. Everybody gets something to beat on. And then they're coming back at 5 and they're doing a teen drum circle. So we're excited about them coming back. We also, I'm so excited, we have Improv Chattanooga coming. They are also going to be doing a teen program. It's teen improv. So we've already had several families excited about that. And that'll be a first for us, and we're hoping it goes really well. And we have another adult writing workshop. This is Chris Wharton. She's a personal friend of mine. She came and did a reading from her recently published book of poetry. She's an amazing writer. She's a teacher at UTC. She teaches creative writing at UTC. And she's going to be doing an adult writing workshop on generative ideas. You have an idea, how do you turn that into a piece of writing? So we're encouraging anybody that wants to write to come out and meet with Chris, call the library, we'll sign you up. And we're also bringing something else new. Ben Roy is also a professor at UTC. He teaches teachers how to teach science, and he does this science showcase for kids. So he's going to come and be bringing a lot of fun science manipulatives and things like that. He calls it a science showcase. That'll be Thursday, July 20th. That'll be our final Thursday program at 11. We're really excited about that. And then our final program, we were able to get the Georgia Ag Experience to come. They're going to bring their mobile classroom. They're going to park it in front of the library. And basically, we're going to rotate kids in and out of that mobile classroom. And they just present all the sort of agricultural experiences in Georgia in a mobile classroom. We're also going to have some fun lawn games and stuff like that for the kids that are waiting, because I think they house 30 kids at a time in there and they work through. So we're going to have some fun stuff outside on the lawn to do for the kids as well. And that'll wrap up our summer reading program on July 21st. And that's it. You can go to chrl.org and find any information about the library. We're also on Facebook. We figured out how to post events. I'm embarrassed to say we were not doing that, but we figured it out. So all of our events are now posted in our event section, but we always have the Facebook feed posts about what's happening, and you can check out our calendar there as well. And we're on Instagram too. There's been some really cute photos of some of the kids and even some of the adults who have won a free book for their home library collection for our summer reading program. And once again, thank you all always for letting me share what's going on at the library. If you have any questions.
Any questions?
No, I met with Mindy last week and
Yes.
had a very good meeting. I just appreciate her making me feel at home and helping me with my questions, so.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you coming. I encourage anybody to come to the library. Yeah, Philip's come, you got some posters made. I know your wife has come and made a bunch of copies before. You know, we're willing to, I would love to give everybody just a tour of all the cool stuff that's going on at the library. Anytime, come see me, and I'd be happy to meet with you.
On your door counter, is that in and out, or do they count people coming in and out, or is that just a one?
That's just one.
Really?
Now, some of it, sometimes we know it's going to double count people, but also sometimes it's basically a laser, and every time the laser's broken, it counts. And it's got a top layer. It's got a top laser and a bottom laser, and one counts the farthest away and one counts the closer. So we know there's a margin of error in there, but also sometimes we'll get like 5 people all coming in as one group, those big families. So I think it's, there's always a margin of error, but we had 150 people come in the library yesterday, and boy, it feels like it. When we were down one staff member, she was taking some vacation days, so I was working the front desk the whole day, and I said, I don't think I got any of my I didn't get to wear my manager hat yesterday because I was busy helping all our patrons out, so.
Okay, good report, appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, let's move down to Mr. Don Townsend, he's county finance officer. You go over our financial report, Mr. Townsend.
All right, as of June 30th, we had a balance in the general fund of $1,151,861. The investments on hand were $1.5 million, so it's a total of $2,651,861 available through the general fund. Federal Asset Fund, U.S. Treasury has a balance of 0. Sheriff Special Fund, a balance of $7,212. Drug Abuse Education Fund, $8,896. Supplemental Juvenile Services Fund, $28,831. Victim Assistance Fund, $1,425. Jail Fund, $11,559. Federal Asset Fund, Department of Justice, 0. American Rescue Plan, $1,417,577. Accommodations tax, $270,033. Employees flexible spending, $22,285. Payroll account, $79,736. 2015 SPLOST funds remaining is $97,627. 2021 SPLOST projects account is a balance of $19,272, and the proceeds account has a balance of $2,242,662. On the next page, you'll see the income statement as of May 31st, and the revenues for the month were $672,166. We budgeted $554,211, so we were under budget. In excess of funds for $117,955. Year to date, the budget actuals that had come in was $12,700,660. We budgeted $12,174,349. And so, again, we're in excess of $526,310 for the year. The revenue, the expense side of the income statement is $1 million for the month of May, $1,321,387. Budgeted $288,208. So we were over budget $33,178. Year to date, we're expensed $12,458,923. We had budgeted $12,522,268. So we were under budget for $63,344. Budget attained so far should be at 91.67%. Revenues attained were at 95.39%. Expenses attained were at 91.85%. So that is for May 31st. Realize we do have one more month to go, even though we've just passed June 30th. And then, as you may recall, we'll leave our books open for 60 days according to state law for any outstanding invoices to come in and post, as well as checks. Most accounts payable will be posted by early August. But we'll still have a few things meander their way in, and we get those posted, and then hopefully in early September we'll have a final look at the budget for the FY23 budget year. Local option sales tax revenue that was reported from the Department of Revenue. This is, of course, the 80% of the total, 100% we get for the county. $243,409.13, and then the special purpose local option sales tax, and I printed the wrong one, wonderful, is $313,085.60 for the month of June, which represents actually 2 months ago. Okay. The next report is the SPLOST tracking worksheet. We have the 2015 report and the 2021 report. 2021 report, you can see so far total expenditures total $2,648,412 for the year. Last year was $1.5 million. This year so far has been $1.1 million. We'll again. These books stay open as well for 60 days. So we may have a little bit more post before the final report concludes. 2015 SPLOST report is pretty much the same as it's been. We're just awaiting final payments to the fire departments. I think we do have one fire department now that's, well, it looks like we've got two, West Brow and I believe North Dade. Have used all their funds, and it looks like Davis is down pretty much used all their funds as well. Final report is the Dade County Tax Commissioner's Office. Looking at July 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2023. Year to date, revenues collected are $5,367,906. We'd budgeted through that same period, $5,495,500. So a little under budget, $127,593. That is at 97.68% of what we anticipate budget collection. These, however, stay open for years, actually. So we will be collecting on this from now on, although, again, 60 days is the audited version of those financials, but typically these are always collected well above 100%. That concludes the report.
Okay. Any questions? Corrections? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our financial report as presented by Mr. Townsend. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Hartline. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. A motion and a second. Call vote. Mr. Lowry.
Yes.
Mr. Hartline.
Yes.
Mr. Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Bradford.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes. Okay. Robin, you got anything tonight? Anything for us? Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. No new business. We've already got that. Okay. Mr. Townsend, would you please go over our consent agenda, please, in the workshop, and we'll entertain a motion pertaining to that, please.
Okay, we have the approval of the agenda as amended by adding item 13, recycling program. Approval of the previous meeting minutes, the review and approval of the personal status report as presented, the historic courthouse restoration project report, monthly report presented by BCM Incorporated, resolution R-30-23, disposal of surplus county property, which is two four-wheelers as noted therein, and ordinance number 08-03-23, an amendment to the hotel motel accommodations excise tax passed on July 5th, 2018. That's the first reading only. That's it.
Okay. Any questions? Corrections? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented by Mr. Townsend. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bradford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Call the vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Ms. Bradford?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay, motion carries. All right. I don't think we need an executive session tonight. Anybody got anything else they want to say before we adjourn? Okay. Appreciate everyone staying with us through the night, and I hope everyone had a safe 4th of July. And this time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting. Have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, I have a second.
Second.
Call the vote. Mr. Hartline.
Yes.
Mr. Lowry.
You missed me.
Mr. Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Bradford.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. You vote present. All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.